You build your life around someone, mapping your future to their movements and merging your routines until they feel like yours. Then they walk away. The immediate response is a cognitive spiral. You replay every interaction, searching for the exact moment you failed to be enough, treating their departure as a definitive verdict on your value. But the pain isn't actually a reflection of your worth. The intensity of the suffering suggests a deeper error. We are grieving the loss of something that, in reality, was never as stable as we convinced ourselves it was. This isn't a loss of love so much as the collapse of a specific anchor. You relied on that person to define your reality, and with them gone, that reality has no floor. Most human relationships operate on a transactional basis. We are drawn to people based on how they reflect our own self-image back to us. We love the way they make us feel about ourselves. We provide our presence and expectations, and the other person outputs the validation we crave. When consistent, we feel secure. But the system breaks when one stops fulfilling their end. Their desires change, and the flow of validation simply stops. When those specific conditions are no longer met, the affection often disappears. The promises of forever are revealed to be contingent on you serving a specific purpose in their life. You aren't mourning a person. You are mourning the sudden failure of your primary source of validation. Spiritual traditions identify this trap as Maya. It's the habit of treating temporary, changing things as if they could provide permanent security. We are taught to build our lives this way, connecting our sense of peace to other people through these fragile tethers. We treat other humans, who are just as confused and changing as we are, as our ultimate foundation. This structure is unstable by design. Because human nature is inherently shifting and driven by self-interest, any foundation built on another person is guaranteed to move. When you rely on a moving target for your stability, you live in a state of constant, quiet tension. You are always waiting for the other shoe to drop. Attempting to find a permanent result in two shifting variables is a structural contradiction. This is the mechanism that produces suffering. There is a different way to view this betrayal. It functions as a forceful intervention, pulling you out of a system that was never going to sustain you. This abandonment is an emergency exit. It is a violent removal from the cycle of Maya, forcing you to look for a better foundation. Consider what would have happened if they had stayed. You might have spent decades comfortably invested in a lie, only to have the floor fall out much later, when you had even less energy to recover. While human affection fluctuates based on mood and utility, spiritual devotion offers a constant. It is a relationship where the other party doesn't change their mind or withdraw their presence based on your performance. This heartbreak functions as a rescue mission. It shatters the specific illusion that was keeping your world small and dependent. This shift in perspective changes your role in the story. You move from being the casualty of a failed relationship to a student of how things actually work. Look at the geometry of your life. You take the horizontal axis of human approval, which is always shaky, and you rotate it 90 degrees. You build a vertical pillar that connects your sense of self to the infinite. When your source of value is no longer a person who can leave, your pulse is no longer dictated by their opinions. You become stable because your input comes from a source that is constant. You gain a form of quiet strength when you no longer require another human's presence to confirm that you exist. The first step is to accept the mechanics of human nature. People are temporary and conditional. Expecting them to be otherwise is what causes the friction. Next, change your environment. Seek out satsang, association with truths that outlast your current emotional state. Redirect the energy you used for longing toward understanding. Practice daily surrender. This isn't giving up, it's handing over the burden of the outcome. You stop trying to manage how others perceive you and focus on your vertical connection. You can return to the cycle of seeking validation from people who are just as lost as you, or you can build something that doesn't break. Stop waiting outside the door for someone who has already left. Surrender the pain. Find a community that speaks the truth.